there. I hope everybody is having a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Saturday, and I very much appreciate if you should happen to choose to spend a little bit of that time here with us. Today we have something really special, something we haven't done in a very long time, years in fact, and that is the opportunity, we've been afforded the opportunity to host a race with several different talented individuals. So I'm very excited to get to see what happens here, and it's with a game that we've never done it before. The last time we had a race on this channel, again about 3 years ago, it was a Mario race between two prolific racers, and now we have a treat for you. We have 5. We will have 2 different rounds. We'll have one where it is one head-to-head race, and then we'll have one where we have 3 in an arena. But again, thank you so much. And thank you, by the way, to the Valkyria Gaming Star for Killer Dragon for being in early. I really appreciate that. I'm going to try to do my absolute best, though I am no seasoned professional. And we should hopefully have some commentary made from some people in this race after they've raced, before they race, etc. That's the idea. So let's go ahead. Let's just turn that music out real quick, fade that out. And I do hope you are all doing famously. Just for a moment, let's move us over. The very first race that we have running here will be between Omega Ace Gaming and Shode 86. The idea of this race is not a 100% race. It's not a no-death run. It's not perfection. It is first and foremostly to have fun. But if we are looking for objective goal here, it is to gain access to the Master Sword. It is a Master Sword race. And so up here on the lineup, we have Omega Ace and Shode 86. I'm not sure if you guys might like to say hi, if you're available to say hi.
Hello.
Let's see. There we are. Wonderful, wonderful. So the way that this works is I will be giving a countdown. There's a timer down there in the bottom center of the screen, as you can see, and the racers have their names below their respective screens as well. I'll be giving a "Are you ready?" They'll give me an okay. I'll give them a short countdown, and then we will start the timer, and let's see what they can do. So I'm going to go ahead and start this off, I guess, with a bang. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, Omega?
Yep, I'm ready.
Oh, sorry, I guess I only heard it from one. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm ready.
There we go. That might be a little bit better. All right. So,
and how do I sound, okay?
You sound all right.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, are we going to go ahead and jump over at Thumb when they do it so that they have kind of full gamer focus? Are we going to jump over into the general?
Oh, you mean you and me leave?
That way they can have their total focus. They're working. They can speak.
I think Mazin and they're there. Maybe I could create a new voice channel. Race 1.
Whatever's comfortable. That way we can give some commentary on the side. Lo, okay. Good afternoon to you too.
Hi, Lo.
Let's see. I'd love to join in the next event. We'll have to take a look. These take a lot of planning, and there's a lot that go into them, so we'd have to take a look and see. Obviously, I am not the organizer of this one, but I have hardware limits, of course, so could I join it? I wish we could. We're already pretty full up here, and my computer probably is being pushed to capacity. I'm not sure how much more I could push it, but I appreciate that you would like to be so active in the community. We may have to look at that as a future endeavor, if that's all right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just unpin that there. All right. Everybody's ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I guess we're going to say everybody's ready. We're going to do it from 5 and on go. Ready? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, I think we've gotten... Can the racers hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I counted down and nobody went. I'm sorry.
Nobody went?
No, yeah, nobody went.
Wow.
It didn't show on mine. It shows your screens, but it didn't show anybody going. Oh, it's...
Yeah, we're going.
Maybe. Oh yeah, there. Oh no, Mazin.
You got the wrong screen up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe restart somehow. Or,
Yeah, that's all right. Let me try. Oh, see, there's Omega's screen going right there on mine now. See, looks like there might be a delay.
A little bit of a delay, probably.
Yeah, it shows that Shode doesn't show to be moving. So let me take a look at something really quickly. And please forgive the technical issues. Sometimes this happens, especially when trying to get everything situated.
Yeah.
Are we racing right now?
Oh.
Let's take a.
Yeah, we counted down.
Well, I'm playing. I just didn't know I was showing up.
Yeah, I'm playing too. So, I mean, I'll start over if we have to.
Yeah.
It's not a huge
We might do that.
I mean, I'm playing. I just didn't know.
Let's save that. I just want to take a quick peek. Because we can definitely see, I say we. Yeah, I'm not seeing, and maybe I have this wrong, but I'm not seeing Shode's move on mine. I can see Omega's moving, but I can't see Shode's.
Yeah.
Do we have everything? Hold on one moment. Let's see if we can't. We may pause due to technical issues. So,
Are we starting over? Should I?
Yeah. I think we will do that because I think that it doesn't show Shode is moving. I can see yours is moving and everything's doing what it's supposed to, but Shode's doesn't seem to be. So we want to make sure it's a good fair race.
I'll clear this. I'll clear this and make new data then.
Okay. Let me. I'm going to go ahead and I think for the sake of things, I'm going to go back to an intermission. Please forgive the momentary technical difficulties as we get a restart. So
we are going to start over?
Yeah, if that's all right. It's for some reason on yours, the screen is moving. It's not frozen, but it's not. It's just at your menu screen with your fairy on your file. So let me put just an intermission screen up for just a minute. There we are.
Yeah, if there's a way I could see the unlisted streams also maybe as an option, just
Yeah, I posted mine in.
think I might. Okay. I was wondering just because you... Let's just... All right, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now it's working. I think I had figured out what it was, so... Yeah, I can see it now. So I think we're all good. So, sorry about that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. I figured out what everything was right now, so we should be good to go. No problem. I'm sorry? Again, for anybody who's in the chat, please do forgive some technical difficulties. Once we get everything situated here, we should be back underway fairly shortly, though. Okay, I think we've got the kinks worked out. I appreciate everybody for being patient. Sometimes when organizing something like this, you can account for all of the people, but not for all of the technology. And this is one of those instances, so again, I do appreciate your patience with us in this particular through this particular hurdle. All right, so again, we should now be able to do this. I'm going to try and move us back over. There we go. Okay, so again, the idea... It's okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it. So again, the idea of this is a Master Sword race. Now, we have people that are a little bit more seasoned. We have people that are relative newcomers. So the idea of this, firstly and foremostly, is it's all for fun with great people within this community. It's a wonderful collaboration. So very, very excited to get to see what goes here. But the objective is just to have fun, try to do it as best as you possibly can. So the first matchup we have is Omega Ace Gaming versus Shode 86. You may be noticing a difference in the borders. We had to change some stuff in the text, so there is just a little bit of a difference there. Should be the same. I will be doing a countdown from 5, and then when I say go, everyone should be going. I am going to double check on something just before I do that, because we did just have a hiccup, just to ensure that that hiccup does not occur again. Or at least to try our best to do that. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and count. Are both runners ready? Sorry, once more. Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to try this one more time. We're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and we've got Omega off. We've got Shode off. Wonderful. Now we're seeing what I was hoping we would see, which is the race. Thumb, are you wanting to go ahead and jump in there so you can commentate with me, or would you like me to take this?
Falling asleep. This is the first game where Link is sleeping. And that's sort of like a universal thing now in the Zelda series.
That he's kind of lazy, the idea. And there is actually some management there in terms of the text boxes to mash the buttons as best as you possibly can without hitting X so as not to bring up a menu and slow you down, as I understand it.
Yes. We also want to specify this is the American version. In the Japanese version, the text goes by a little bit faster. Also, if you mash the buttons a little bit, you could make the lines go a little bit quicker as well. You don't have to do like contra mashing, but just a little tiny bit of mashing.
Fair about it.
Omega Ace is on the left side and Shode is on the right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Omega Ace, just to introduce some of these runners. Omega Ace, big fan of Castlevania. He has a whole bunch of Castlevania shorts on his channel. He also has a nice mix of live streams. Sometimes he would play like a beat 'em up one day, then a platformer another day. Also different consoles. He's very big into the Famicom disc system of collecting. And he's also a huge help in the community as well. Big supporter in the community. So, we thank him for participating today.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing to note that if you are interested in taking a look at any of these gamers and their respective content, they are many of them tackling a new arena today in the speed racing community. But if you're interested in taking a look at what their fortes are, where they basically have originated, please do check in the description below where you will find links to all of these guys. I heavily recommend checking all of them out. Very, very, very awesome community of people here.
So here you could kind of go, I'll talk about Shode a little bit soon. Here you could kind of go infiltration mode, sort of like Metal Gear Solid style. You want to try to avoid fighting enemies as much as you can. Shode kind of did a strat here where he kind of went up a certain height to so that guard doesn't spawn. He does a nice little spin attack. Omega does a nice little sword poke.
And
Shode... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the idea in a lot of these cases is going to be to try and avoid contact with as many of these as you can. If it's unavoidable, it's almost always quicker to use either a spin attack or it's going to be quicker to use a secondary weapon when you have that opportunity. Am I correct in that?
Yes, there's a lot of improvising or game planning as you go. The spin attack is a little bit more powerful, but it's a little bit slower too. So it's always interesting to see what the racers do. You could also stun enemies with the boomerang, which is kind of cool, which Shode did. And Omega kind of went infiltration style. Omega using the pot strat, so it is Shode. That's a really good race strat to use. 2 pots will kill that guy.
And so in terms of
Shode,
the damage, it's sword swipes are 1 point of damage, and then boomerang or swipe attack or pots are going to be 2 points of damage. So using the pots is going to help mitigate some of that time loss you'd get from having to poke them, so to speak, a little bit more. That
ball and chain guy has 8 hit points or of health. So a pot is equivalent to 4 damage.
It's 4
so
damage.
2 pots will kill him. Yes.
Okay. I got that backwards then.
Oh yeah, no worries. So here you're going to go a little bit backtracking a little bit, going back to where you were. Shode is a new member in the YouTube community. Really super friendly guy. He's been also playing God of War recently, I believe for the first time. And, God of War is a little bit like a Zelda-esque game. He's also a big Ninja Gaiden and Contra fan as well. As you can see in his icon, he has the Ninja Gaiden 2 cutscene right there of Ashtar. So, again, thanks to both racers for participating. Both great guys. You should definitely give them a follow. He has Ninja Gaiden 2 cutscene.
And I don't know if I'm just missing this too. It doesn't sound like there is. It doesn't sound like the audio is remarkably loud on the game.
Yeah, I don't hear any audio on my end.
Yeah, I'm not hearing any of the game audio from that. So let me see if I can switch over.
Yeah, if you want to do some testing while troubleshooting, and I could do his commentary as best I could in the meantime. That helps.
I think I'm just going to have to switch it over. It doesn't sound like there's any audio coming out of the Omega one. So I'll just.
From what I'm seeing, this is a very close race, neck and neck here.
Okay.
So now we're in the sewers where there are some RNG randomness in this sewer level here. Luckily, you don't take that much damage when you do get hit there from these enemies. There's snakes, there's mice, there's bats. You gotta have the whole hodgepodge of the monster party here. It looks like both racers know where to go through the sewers.
Yeah,
so that's always good.
I will say one of the biggest concerns was that we were hearing ahead of time, and this is not a single concern. It was a concern being heard from a lot of the newer people coming into it, was remembering the pathing to it. And the pathing I does seem to get, unless you've done it 1,000 times, I can understand where that gets a little confusing. What you have, you kind of use a mnemonic yourself, or?
For this category, you are allowed to use something called save and quit. And yeah, my mnemonic memory is high 5. So you're going to use save and quit 5 times is the recommended route for this particular run. And the first time, you might be seeing it very shortly here, as both racers are almost at Sanctuary. And yes, this is a game where if you haven't played in a long time, especially the Dark Worlds, those dungeons could be very tricky to a point where it's sort of like half of the dungeon you don't have to explore. So that's kind of like the funny thing about those dungeons designs, is there are a lot of rooms where you don't necessarily have to go to.
Okay. And it looks like the audio is they're just I can't get audio from their side of it, so I'll put some music on in the background just to make it so that it's not too deafening in between the commentary. Zelda related, of course.
Both racers are picking up the heart container, which is a smart move. That's a good safety strat. It definitely gives you that good peace of mind. And as you can see, both racers are using save and quit, both in sync. That's pretty cool.
Very nice. So this is so when you're using something as a save and quit too, there's also I think it's become a trope in Zelda racing altogether, including the 3D ones, that you have you either have save and quit or you can abuse Death Warp in these cases. And I think that that's the same here. This kind of seems like it may have been one of the origin points for that. Does that sound about right?
This is it's an interesting. I think the first Zelda game had save and quit, where you could use the second controller, and you had to press up and A.
So little hidden pieces here of. Let's do this for the sake of it, real quick. Okay, there we go. Let's turn that off so I can see what's going on here. Very nice. Okay. And so I guess the other question that I have, I was taking a look at a pathing. A lot of this is optimized. It didn't seem like, despite the fact that a lot of it looks to be, up until you start getting to some of these boss fights, that it's really an RNG thing. It looks like a lot of it's pretty well set in stone. Does that sound about right? Is this a lot more strategy, or is this going to be a lot more of this kind of RNG? Because I know in some of the cases, the boss fights, we do get RNG. That's going to happen. And how do you think that'll impact these guys running this new? Thumb, did we lose you there? Okay. We may have lost Thumb for just a moment, so my apologies on that. But what I was stating and what I was asking to see if we had confirmation on is, in a lot of these cases, when we see them running these races, we're going to try and see them avoiding the enemies as best as they can, because that's going to slow them down. A lot of this is not RNG up until this point. You're going to have some little bits and pieces, but my understanding is that you can optimize routing and pathing in this up until you start getting to some of the boss fights. And in getting to some of the boss fights, that's when we're going to start seeing RNG taken, and we're going to start seeing a little bit more of a risk versus reward depending on the strategies that they espouse here. Okay, so I know in this very room right here, anti-fairy room that that Shode is in, he's taking a very safe strat. It looks like, which I think is a fair point. This is definitely a scary room. I think that the strat that some of them take or opt to take is to abuse the anti-fairy, the invulnerability frames here, because the anti-fairies are guarding that button that you actually have to be able to touch, and so I believe that you usually can use iframes to enjoy that, or to abuse that. And Thumb, I can see that you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you. So I just didn't want to... There we are. We have just a little bit of music to keep things interesting. We'll move that up just a little bit. Okay. And I'm not sure why it is that I can't hear Thumb right now, but it does seem. It seems like something happened to where he dropped out, and I can't hear him. Oh, and we do see a death there on the left-hand side with Omega. No worries. And I honestly didn't catch that. I apologize, to see if that might have been a part of the strategy. I think in this case the stop and go is going to be, or I say stop and go. That's not the appropriate term for it, but I think that particular strategy is ideal. Very nice, and the dodging. And in this case right here, we can see Shode's up against the two behemoths. There is a little bit to the arrow physics, as I understand it, which is that arrows cannot be fired while an arrow is in flight. So an arrow must make contact with a target before the second arrow can be fired. Otherwise, you'll get a stagnant motion there. And so using the arrows here, he has to kind of time them out, because until the arrow makes contact with the enemy or the wall, he won't be able to fire. And he did that pretty masterfully, in all honesty. That was quite impressive. Very, very nice. Okay, so... Okay. And so Shode is now outside of... He's outside of the temple. And Omega going for the large chest. One of the things that they did to go ahead and find the bow, one of the things that is kind of counterintuitive in these races, Shode with his first pendant, yes. One of the things that I realized is kind of counterintuitive. When we play video games new, or when we've played them, or we try to play them 100%, we almost always are inclined to go for the gold, or to go for the treasure chest, or whatever might be there. In this case, it's actually strategic to not go for ones that are vestigial, ones you don't need. And so you might see them going for treasure chests. You may see them bypassing treasure chests altogether. If you do see them doing that, please note that that is probably just a part of their strategy, as it doesn't contain anything that they really need to complete this race. So that's the idea behind that. Okay, and I'm not sure what happened to Thumb's audio just there. Could be that we just lost him, or it looks like I can see that he's attempting to, but I can't actually see him commentating. Okay, and we also did see Shode just there use the save and quit where he can restart, and we're seeing him do that again, just to kind of get everything situated and started. Omega taking care of a particularly frustrating skeleton, of course, and beautifully done. He's going to have arrows, and arrow management becomes a big part of this as well, making sure that you have the appropriate amount of arrows in the quiver, because arrows are going to become a very important part of that. They do more damage than your traditional... They do more damage than your standard sword attack, and he did make pretty quick work of them. And he chose a bold move. He's got a pretty good amount though in the quiver there, but to forego the 10 arrows, very nice. And Shode's doing a really great job here too on the outside of movement optimization in creating, or in sword dashing. Or in dashing, I guess, in general, just to avoid hitting obstacles. The thing about it is you can do something, and this is used strategically as well, called bonking, wherein you hit a wall or you hit something, and this helps in some cases especially in some boss fights, this will help pre-measure a distance or a place where you need to be standing. The problem with that is when you're optimizing your movement strategies, you are avoiding bonking as best as you possibly can, because that does slow you down, except for in areas where you're trying to set up, you want not to do that. And there goes Omega right there with a victory on his way back out, and having snagged his first pendant as well. Wonderful, and congratulations. At work, but I will share. No worries, Great White North, a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much. So honestly, I have to say, for people that are watching this, and for people that are interested in getting into this type of stuff, this is a great example of the amount of skill that can be accomplished. And again, I don't know the specifics for everybody in this, but I do know that these gentlemen here have come on as self-proclaimed more casual runners, and I think they're doing a pretty phenomenal job, considering. I mean, if you take a look at this, they know the strategies, they know the movements, they are doing they're doing a pretty darn good job of making short work of this. So I think this is a very good. I think this is a pretty darn good example of what you can. Oh, very nice. So some menu navigation. A very good example of what you can do if you happen to be interested in this and you wanted to kind of put your toe into it. This is a great example of first steps taken, and taken well, from both of our runners here. Let's see here. I hear Retro Room. Let's see, Retro Room, no Thumb. Am I being heard? No, yeah, Thumb, I'm sorry. We can't, I don't know why we can't hear you. I was trying to tell you that, and I'm so sorry. For some reason you dropped off, and I have no idea why. So, I'm glad everybody can hear me, though. And again, I do apologize. This is one of the biggest ones that we've done so far. We try to do as much teching and testing as possible, but it's always going to there are always going to be those issues that you run into, so we can always account for us, but we can't account for tech. So I do appreciate you for being patient with us and dealing with it. As we continue to progress in the racing community, we will continue to improve on our testing, teching, and layout. So I do appreciate you all for being here, for being supportive of these awesome racers, both new and the veterans that are coming up, as well as being supportive of us in navigating some of these more technical difficulties and issues. Thank you so very much. I very much appreciate it. And some comments really quickly saying, Lo, they're playing greatly, they're racing greatly. I really appreciate that support, and I know they will too. Honestly, these are ones that I understand to be more self-proclaimed relative newcomers, and Omega and Shode both, I think, are showing some really impressive memorization and movement strategy, and I think they've done a really good job of putting in some of this. And there's Mazin there in the chat. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mazin. I appreciate, again, all of you, to all of the racers, as much as to all of our awesome audience here. I really want to say thank you for being patient with us in some of the tech issues, and of course, the racers had to be more patient even than anyone else, as they had to wait for me to size everything. So very much appreciate everyone, audience and racer, your patience with me in trying to make this happen as best as I possibly can. So. All right, and so now, let's see if we've got Thumb back. We still can't hear Thumb for some reason. Just make sure that there's no reason for him to be no mute or any of that. So I'm not sure why we can't hear him. I'm not sure why we can't hear him. Let me take a look and just see if really quickly there's an issue on my side. I don't think so, but it's possible. It looks like it's where it's supposed to be, so nothing changed on me. Oh, okay, and so we're all ready to the fight there. And this is where we definitely get to see some RNG here. Using the arrows, there's a position, this is a place where we were talking about bonking, coming into the door right there, bonking on that back wall in this fight against the 3 worms. But being serious, bonking on that back wall will get you set up, and then basically unloading arrows into some of these villains. Some of these bosses will help give you the biggest chance of defeating it quickly. But of course, after that, it is for the most part RNG, where you're going to have to kind of just try and optimize your movement and your sword slashes, which were just brilliantly done there in this defeat. Look at that. That is beautiful. Congratulations there on that fight to Shode. Very, very nice. And Omega trailing not too terribly far behind as well, doing a wonderful job of movement management and attempting to navigate it. Honestly, the navigation is a really tricky part of this, and unless you have run this 100 times, not just in the movement strategy, but in navigating this is complicated. So, again, both of these runners have done a phenomenal job of showing that they have done the due diligence of trying to make this run memorize the paths, and in some cases even getting that optimization of movement down from spinning to arrow management to dashing. Very, very, very impressive. Very nice. Just going to practice for the next race. Great race. Sorry about that, Thumb. I don't know what happened, but I appreciate it. I need the best of luck because I'll be facing 2 awesome speedrunners. Yeah, we've got some awesome stuff coming up, and we've got some awesome stuff right here. So it's all awesome. Honestly, I gotta be clear. And so it's a pretty tight race. Shode's got a bit of an advance right here, but he's doing a pretty good job. But Omega is not far behind. In all honesty, these guys are doing a pretty impressive job of navigating this. Again, I am someone who probably will try to do this at some point in time myself, but I don't necessarily know that I'd have the confidence in navigating as surely as they are, and they're doing a phenomenal job at that. I want to recommend, just while everyone's kind of navigating their mazes, their way back out or back in, I do want to give everybody a reference. If you're interested in following these guys, some of these guys who are speedrunning, some of these guys who do other things besides speedrunning, but this is a supplement to that, please do check out the links down below where these racers are all featured. You can click on, see what their channel's all about. And these are people that I do recommend. Several of these people I've had the pleasure of knowing for a long time. Some of these people I haven't had the pleasure of knowing for a long time, but have had the pleasure of speaking with, and they've seemed to be very, very awesome, very cool, knowledgeable, and chill individuals, I think is the word. So I do heavily recommend checking out those channels and links. Hummus says, "Hey everyone, welcome in." Who is in the lead right now? Shode has a bit of a lead. He led the elderly gentleman out of the cave. There's definitely a bit of a trick to that as well. And I'll talk about that, I think, when Omega comes upon that. I think I'll talk about that a little bit, because there is a little bit of secret, a little bit of movement strategy, and actually a little bit of game hindrance in there. And so there's our crossing right there with one of the most adorable little sprites, in my opinion. For anybody who hasn't played A Link to the Past, for anyone who hasn't played A Link to the Past, I should say, if you are interested in picking up a copy, I've also put it down in the link below where you can find a cartridge copy if you should happen to own a Super Nintendo. If you do not happen to own a Super Nintendo, there are wonderful alternatives out there in the form of the Nintendo Switch version, which I believe at least one racer is running today. And, of course, there are multiple different ways you can obtain a copy of this game. And if you're interested in getting involved in this community, again, it's as simple as trying to learn a race and getting to talk with people. And, again, it's just barely begun again, so it's in its infancy. Please forgive and be patient, but that would be, I think, the first steps, at least. Let's see. Homo Zero says, so it's being run in pairs. So in this one's being run head-to-head. The next one will actually be run in three. It will be three runners at the same time, we will see. So that's the idea behind it. But yes. First, yes, Mazin already covered that with Paul Tessi, Thumbros, and me. Very nice. So we definitely have racers of all skill, very, very, like I said, very, very impressively navigating this. So this race is one that I think is being handled very, very well from newer racers. I think this is impressive. So at some point, I'm hoping that I will get to try and race against someone this skill, however far in excess of mine. At least right now, until I can get some more practice in. All right, and going over to Omega's screen, we've got the floor tile room. He's just foregone that as soon as he has the opportunity to, which is fantastic. And he's going to, we've got this is kind of a nice little mirror, because on the right-hand side of the Shode, we have the other floor tile room, and he's not going to have quite the same option there. So the idea is just to kind of set out and have it, try not to get hit. In some cases, you can slash like he's doing right now, just slash rapidly. I believe you can also hold your sword out in front of you and move and block those. So there's a plethora of strats. None of them are really better than the other, as far as I'm aware, because they all result in the same thing, just trying to not get hit by the tiles. So once you get the little skull and crossbone, there you go. And here's Omega in his fight, and he's going with the sword strat. He's going to stay a little bit safer than that. Oh, and we do see a death on Shode's side. That's all right. He's made some really good time. He's got a little bit of wiggle room there. Again, I don't know if that was for the strategy there. I do know that there's a death warp in here that's of benefit, so that could have been where that is. I may have commentated a little too soon. I didn't see. I looked over at Omega. But Omega's using a good strat, just a safe strat, making sure to take care of them. And again, this is an RNG piece, so once you get that initial damage, once you get lined up for that initial damage, you are pretty well a subject of the RNG here. So, okay, so it looks like it wasn't the strategic one. Looking back over at Shode's screen, we're back in the tile room. Again, he's doing a great job of making sure not to get hit by the tiles. I'm trying his best not to do so. Let's see. I think that. Oh, and there we go. Yeah, that was quick. You blink and you miss it. There's the second pendant there for Omega. And he's playing instead of taking the enemies. So on these, again, on the text boxes, the easiest thing or the best thing to do with these text boxes is to mash buttons. To mash A, B, and Y. Hitting the X button will bring up your map, and the map isn't necessary for those who've already pathed it. So as a result of this, all of the other buttons can be hit to try and kind of escalate or accelerate everything else. But beyond that, that's pretty well all you can do when you're stuck in that. So, yeah. So there we go. He's got a switch there, headed back downstairs. There's a couple of the interesting thing about the Zelda game is when you're not really pathing about it. I think as people kind of playing at their leisure, you can, just as has happened before, you can fall down in some of these. There are some of these holes that you'll find there that you can just fall down and actually cause you to lose a fair amount of time and to have to restart a segment. Very, very frustrating if you're moving pretty quickly. So this is. We're not seeing a ton of that necessary just yet, but we'll see a lot of those holes and those pratfalls coming out. Here, just to make sure that I'm not being disruptive to the. There we go. Just to make sure that I wasn't being disruptive to the racers. I don't want to be whispering in their ear the entire time. So, and we've got a pretty good, at this point in time, we do have a decent gap between the two racers, but at the same time, it's not so substantial that I don't think one could catch up to the other. There's a lot of room or potential room for error here in these final fights, these more difficult fights, some of these kind of more difficult to traverse dungeons. So, Hamasiro says, I'm rooting for you all. You guys perform the best you can. And they are, I think, they are doing a phenomenal job. Again, if you are somebody who is a fan of speed runs and speed racing, I think it's definitely something to, I say speed running. I think it's definitely pertinent to check out some of these people on their respective channels. Is that all that they do? Of course not, but it is really worth showing it. And I know they appreciate you showing appreciation. So if you want to do so here in the chat, or if you want to do so by checking out their channels, please feel free to do so. I know that they all appreciate it. And Shode, very quickly, without, again, a blink and you miss it moment, has collected a pendant. So he now has his third pendant. Very, very impressive. Good luck to both Shode and Omega. Have to leave. Thank you for the stream. No worries. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being patient with us. I very much appreciate it. It was a pleasure to have you, Lo. I hope I've said that right. Lo. Sky. All right, so 3 pendants in Shode's pocket, 2 in Omega's, with the third one well on the way. And again, we're seeing some dash pathing here, which is really nice. We're seeing Omega's doing a little bit of farming here to try and gather up what he can for the oncoming. And again, that's another piece of this. One thing I do want to go ahead and make a big note of, because I do think while these gentlemen are pathing, I think it's a very important thing to make. A good point to make is speedrunning is obviously fun. Gaming is fun. I can't speak for everybody in the community, but I think I speak for some, and certainly for myself when I say there is nothing in gaming that I consider to be so serious that it take the fun away from it. If you die in a game, if you're not the fastest, if your paths aren't the cleanest, if your runs aren't the smoothest, none of that really matters. The intent of the game is to have fun. So, and look at the Shode. That's the Master Sword right there. Shode setting there with the Master Sword, all 3 pendants. He is good to go. That is that demarcates the end of that particular part of the race. If I'm not mistaken there. Very, very nice. So at this point, he can do whatever he wants to do. That's Omega's on his way. He's doing a phenomenal job. We've seen some really good stuff there. Congratulations, everybody. Please do give a congratulations, a GG, or whatever is comfortable to Shode for making it to the Master Sword. 3154, not bad. Not bad at all. Both racers are doing really, really good. So yeah, very, very big congratulations to you, Shode. Absolutely. We're going to watch Omega go ahead and take his. He's not far behind. He's doing a really good job. Consider that Omega has, again, a self-proclaimed casual runner, and he's doing this brilliantly. So huge round of applause for both gentlemen here. So he's actually escorting the elderly man. This can get a little bit frustrating because, firstly, he has to be pathing and has to know the path without having full visibility. Secondly, he cannot dash with the elderly man in tow. He has to move at his speed, and I believe he actually even moves a bit slower than he normally would with the old man in tow. So it can be a little bit of a frustrating thing when the objective is to go fast. But he does so and navigates it brilliantly. And so, let's take a look. Awesome job, Omega, and thanks for being here. To Mazin. Mazin, of course, being wonderful and supportive, but very much appreciative. And thank you, Killer Dragon, for the GGs to Shode. I know that he appreciates. I'm sure he does. And the idea is, if everything goes well and works well, I hope it does. The idea is that we can perhaps have the racers in to kind of talk about what they were thinking about and what was going through their mind, what they found to be the hardest to remember, just to kind of get into the mind of a new or a casual racer. I think that's really good. But again, it's not about perfect. It's about fun. That's the idea. So, I think this is a great example of two people who are very much melding the fun with the talent, because I think they've both done a wonderful job so far. Omega on PB pace, absolutely. And that's a wonderful thing here. I think, I don't know for a fact, but I think we're going to have several people here leaving with PBs, personal bests, and I think that is amazing. What a thing to do, to go into an event and to be able to leave with a personal best. That's such a fun thing, such a cool thing. Okay, and we've got him navigating the dungeon again here, skeleton dungeon. And I believe there are a couple of ways that this can be done. This is I think there's a safe strat here. If I'm not mistaken, there is a much more difficult to manage spawn strat, I think they call it. I'm not 100% positive on that, but it's one where if you don't cross a certain area, you don't have to worry about that spawn immediately. So. But he handles it very well. Linda the Gamer Gal says, hi everyone, Link Hype. Welcome in, Linda the Gamer Gal. Goodness sakes, I'm so sorry. We are watching some wonderful racers. Shode just managed to get the Master Sword a minute ago. This is a Master Sword race. Omega Ace is well on his way to his third pendant, and inevitably the Master Sword is well, doing a phenomenal job also. So I know that they all appreciate the support that's been given to them, and a huge thank you to those of you who've been here thus far. I do want to go ahead and take a moment to say that if you didn't happen to make this event live, you weren't able to make this event live, but you do make it after the fact, and you happen to watch these guys, obviously this video is going to stay up on the channel. Please do feel free. I may edit some of the tech issues out of the beginning, just because obviously we don't want to cause any problems there. But I do think that this video will be up there, and it's a great doorway if you haven't been exposed to some of these people. I think it's a great way for you to see some really awesome gamers and game runners, and not just speed runners, but people that just enjoy to play games as well. Again, I'm going to leave it up. Thank you for those of you who join us after the fact, who see this as a video. What do they call it? A video on demand now, who see this as a non-live event. Please do check these people out. They're great. But thank you so much for your support. And so, again, we're watching Omega take, he's trying to make sure that, again, going and taking the enemies head on is not usually the first thing you want to do when you come to these. In a lot of cases, he did tap the map button just there, it looks like. But a lot of times you want to try to either avoid it, or you want to try to get what you need to get done first, or you want to try to optimize the movements where that could be done at the same time. So Omega makes pretty quick work of that. Lights I'm not sure what those are called, sconces, I think is what I would say, but and then gets his key and switches back so that he can backtrack through that tile room. And so now he's going to be well on the way to obtaining that additional pendant, is the idea, is my understanding, that he's going to try and he's going to take... The idea of it is, in the dungeons, at least the way that I understand it, is that the pathing on that is a little bit more difficult in terms of movement to optimize, because you can bonk on so many more things, and it's not necessary in this. So it's a little different than the overworld. If you saw, again, earlier, you saw some shield, you saw some dashing. I keep wanting to call it shield dashing, which is a Castlevania technique, but you will see some dashing You can't really do that in these dungeons because you can run into an enemy. Some of these are going to get to be where we're RNG, or you can bonk on a wall. That's going to slow the progress down quite a bit. So he's doing a pretty good job of trying to keep the movements as clean as possible without running too risky and taking a death. And there we are through the door. And it's a very, very difficult thing in this case when those follow you, because you could call it RNG. It is still based basically on where you're placed or where you are. And getting caught in that corner, not necessarily always something that you can help. So did a really good job of cutting down the time, making sure he takes the enemies down there. We don't want to end up in those in the holes there. That can actually set you back quite a bit. So the idea is just to try not to fall down into those, to have to start back over, and to manage your enemies as cleanly as you possibly can, which I think he's doing all right. Not too bad at all. And then flip that switch so that he can get through the door here. Thesis 9, I think that is. This is why no game music? Come on, why does which streamer do no game music? We wanted to do game music, so the music that I've got running in the background under my voice is Legend of Zelda music. It's a lo-fi Legend of Zelda, but we couldn't, for whatever reason, get the game audio from one of these streamers. We couldn't get it to come through on our side. So normally we would have done original game audio, but because we had a technical issue, we couldn't do it this time. Therefore, there's lo-fi. Should be very soft lo-fi if it's coming through at all. That is Zelda-orientated underneath my voice. But no, trust me, most of us here are very old-fashioned, so we would certainly do it if we'd certainly prefer to have it if we hadn't had the technical issue. But I understand I understand it. All right, and so we now have our next boss fight here. This one's a little bit all over the place. Just as in terms of taking it down, strategies in terms of bosses 2 and 3 can range pretty heavily depending on them, because they do happen to be a little bit less. They happen to be a little bit more random than your first boss, and in this case, this can happen, which is one of the most frustrating things, to be bonked down onto the next floor down. So, oof. An unfortunate death there. And sometimes it happens. But I'm sure he'll make good time in this. This is, I think, part of the strategy in this particular way is to try and mitigate. It's literally to mitigate the pathing even while you are having to take on enemies. And I think the dungeon does a pretty good job of trying to acclimate you to that. But once you face the boss, I think you do fairly quickly start to see that is a much easier said than done thing. So, wonderful spin right there to help take care of that. That really made short time of them. And he's just going to navigate his way back up while trying to navigate against the pratfalls. Again, trying to take as little damage as he can, as well as not falling into the holes. He's flipped the switch and headed back up. And he's making a good use of pots just there. Now, as Thumb told us ahead of that, pots are probably going to be one of the more efficacious ways of taking out an enemy, because apparently they do 4 damage. Your normal sword swipe does 1. I know your sword circle does 2, and I believe your arrow also does, but I could be wrong on that. But pots do 4 damage, which is pretty impressive. Back up and onto the floor with Firetail, and makes his way across the threshold once more. It is to be knocked off by the boss, it is an arduous climb, and he's just made it well. So very, very nice, and congratulations for being back on the platform there, Omega. And now, as best as he can, trying to avoid getting knocked off again. Very, very frustrating to have that happen. And he's pathing his way back. Yeah, I think at this point, too, I mean, getting knocked off is a part of that. It's something that happens. It's a frustrating part of what happens, sadly, when it comes to this particular part. But if you should happen to be inclined to do so, please do offer your congratulations and support to Omega in the chat. Please let him know, because this is one of those things that it is frustrating. It's frustrating if you're not a speedrunner, you're playing this game casually, you get up to that boss fight, and he knocks you off 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't know how many of you had gotten to play this when it first came out. That was kind of a new phenomenon, or at least it seemed to be. I can't think of likening it to anything else. So I would say if you are experiencing this now, or if you've experienced it firsthand, especially if you've experienced this as a casual gamer who just played the game at the very beginning when this first came out, you know how frustrating that can be. So any support you want to give, any cheerings on, please do, because it is a bugger of a boss and a bugger of a time. And here he goes, straight back up. There we go. And Thumb with the awesome support there. You got this. It's not an easy prop to Omega. It's not easy. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like that's that. Let's say that for just a minute. If you've ever watched, especially when it comes to speedrunning, you're playing a game casually. I don't see this as often nowadays, especially with those of us again who I'm not going to put us out there too much, but those of us who are a little bit older, I guess, who had to be patient with our cartridge games because it's all we had. I don't usually see the idea to rage quit, but in the speed community, I do. I see it a lot. I see a lot of people where they get so frustrated and fed up that they just quit. So Omega, double kudos to you for not only being talented enough to be able to do this, but for being tenacious enough to continue this fight despite, getting bonked off. Takes an unfortunate death there, but he's picking it back up. Very nice. Linda the Gaming Gal says didn't play to finish it when it. So I'm sorry, I'm missing this. Didn't play finish it. It first was out, and I'm assuming that I'm misreading that, and it's supposed to be when it was first out and still was annoying. Forgive me if I misread that. It could be my fault just there. That I misinterpreted that. So if I did, but yeah, when you pick these games up, especially when you see that. No, I was to say this right here is, you don't see that. You don't see that a lot when you see, especially in the speedrunning community. You got to go fast, and if you see a lot of people, they're a millisecond too slow or whatever the case is, then that's it. Game's up. I'm done. Omega is tenacious, so please, big support if you can. Offer it to him for being so tenacious and being so willing to see this through to the end. This is. I would legitimately go so far as to say that in the speedrun community, I've not seen this. It is unprecedented. I don't think I've ever seen a speedrunner attempting to speedrun continue to do that under with such conviction. So, very admirable. Speedrunners who rage quit, please do take a lesson from this, because just keep going. How awesome is that? Omega is a champ. I am inclined to agree with you. So he's doing a phenomenal job. Again, I think everybody that we have here today are champions in this arena and in all arenas that they are in. Again, please go show them some love if you're not already, at Omega Ace Gaming, at Shode86. We have 3 more runners coming up. I mean, please do. Please show that. This is great stuff. So these are, and of course when the other 3 runners come up, I'm sure you're already familiar with them, but we'll show them. We have their links already down there, and we'll talk about them too. So, but very impressive tenacity for what is undoubtedly one of the most frustrating bosses. I would argue this is one of the most frustrating bosses of that era, barring maybe Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back may be the only thing that has a boss that's more frustrating than this. So he's going to take it like he's taking it like a champ. Full heart containers at this point, very, very nice. Or full hearts. And what's even more frustrating is not only is the entire arena on the edge of the arena a fallout zone, but you also have a fallout zone right in the middle of the arena, and the bouncing is ridiculous. You can see where he was in the middle. He's keeping centered very well. He's using the spin attack now, which was really, and I think he was doing that before, but he's using the spin attack to try to mitigate that now, which is great. He's going to do more damage. And then just trying his best to make sure that he's keeping that center zone. the idea, look at that. All of the GGs, all of the congratulations due to a tenacious runner, Omega, who just took out the boss. Very nice. Killer Dragon, thank you so much. I know that he's going to appreciate it. And that is that's his third pendant. Very nice. Very, very nice. GG's Omega Ace Gaming. You are awesome. All right, so he's coming back out, loading back in, choosing a spawn from the sanctuary, minimizing that amount of downtime, and that's very, very kind of what Thumb was mentioning earlier. Was talking about jumping out of it and jumping back in to kind of cut down on otherwise time. He's dashing, doing great pathing out in the open world here. Very, very nice. Oh, very nice, and avoiding to bonk on the sign. Very nice controlled movements. He's doing a great job in not just his pathing here, but in his dashes. His dashes are nice and clean. Very, very clean considering. I haven't seen any bonks here, and this is a couple of places he had very easy opportunity to just lose a couple of frames in that. So very, very nice. Again, remembering just to think about this from people who haven't run this before, haven't run any game before. Imagine that it is the first time that you're playing that game, or maybe you've played it casually, but this is the first time that you are optimizing everything. This is the first time you're seeing this all. These guys have done a remarkable job. And look at this. Here we go again. Master Sword from the stone. And we have time with pulling the Master Sword just there. Omega Ace Gaming and Shode 86, a wonderful show of tenacity, of competence, of speedrunning prowess, and of just plain gaming excellence. Everyone who is here, please show that support. Give them the GGs, give them the congratulations, and please do check these guys out. Their links are down below. Check them out. See what they like to do. I think you'll have a lot of fun. But congratulations. Great game to Shode 86, who did a really great run, and Omega Ace for doing a phenomenal run with tenacity. Very, very big round of applause to all of you. Wishbone is proud of you, Omega. Very nice. And Ash is in with the GGs as well. Welcome in, Ash. Always a pleasure to have you. I grabbed bottles in the net, but zero for... That's all right. You did great. Again, I've seen people that they get bumped off once and it's like, nope, that's the end. I'm done. I'm throwing the controller. You got back up. You did it. You've completed it. It's fantastic. Very, very, very impressive. So wonderful. So, all right. If it's all right with everybody, I'm going to attempt really quickly to move to an intermission just to make sure I can change some screens over. We're going to try to get everything set up for the next runner. If you'll permit me just a moment, and then we will be back with our next race. Same situation. Hopefully, we'll have some commentary from Omega, from Shode, perhaps as the other three are racing. Hopefully, we can have that fixed and weeded out. So, if you will permit me, we're just going to shift over here. We're going to get you some music, and we'll be right back.
race. Shirts off for Zelda.
once I hear a countdown, I'm just gonna take my headphones off.
That's not what I want. So I'm gonna turn that off. Okay. Whose audio am I hearing? Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's see if we can get our racers back in. See if I can hear something here. Oh, I think we actually have sound this time. How nice is that? Yeah, we do. Let's go ahead and pause that. And can we hear you, Omega? Can you? Are you there? So definitely hearing some Zelda noises, which is good. Not hearing the racers here. Hey, Omega? Oh, well, I guess maybe not. Let's see. Hello? I don't think they can hear me. We're going to try to see if we can get a little bit of
Alright, I'm gonna run to the restroom
commentary.
real quick, and I'll be ready once I come back.
Let's see.
Yeah, okay, Mazin.
Okay, we're going to see if we can get some... See if we can get the racers so that they can hear me. I'm not sure why they can't, but for some reason they don't seem to be able to. So let's make some quick changes here. See what happens. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I can't hear anybody. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. I wonder why that is. Let's take a peek. Again, please forgive us for having to navigate a couple of technical difficulties, as I am not sure. Let's see here. Hearing someone just
Okay.
there.
I'm here, and I am ready. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can hear some. Oh, could be. But we were commentating a minute ago. Thumb and I were co-commentating, so I'm wondering what in the world.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And then press. Okay.
Let's see if we can do that. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys can all hear me.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see if I
fine.
can get the racers where they can hear me, but I'm not sure why. I was going to see if I could bring them in to speak a little bit post race on the commentary, but I for some reason I don't seem to be able to. So let's try. So I'll get them for just a minute, and then they go away. Let's see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Let me just refresh the channel real quick, see if I can. See, I heard that. There we go. Yeah, she was. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now. Oh, and now I can't.
Oh, that's what I was hearing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I can hear you when I switch rooms. Let me just do this.
I feel so dumb.
It cuts off completely.
Hello?
So, I'm not sure. I do apologize. All right. Well, then I will pull you guys up on earpiece, and I appreciate, again, you who are here who are bearing with me through the tech issue. Hopefully in future ones we'll have some of this stuff ironed out. But really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on.
So you can hear my game audio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, for
Okay, cool. I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, my freaking ears.
All right, everybody, we're going to try and see if we can do this, so please bear with us. I appreciate your patience as we get ready for the next race. We wanted to try to see if we could bring in the racers from the previous one, or at least Omega Ace, I believe. One of the other racers had to leave, or Mr. Shode had to leave, but let's see. Let's see if we can hear them. Or Mr. Shode had to leave, but let's see if we can we, Omega, are you there? All right. Yes, I can hear you. This is such a you are a genius. Thank you for helping me with that.
Yes, I can hear you. This is
all right. So we have you here. So the idea for this is just to kind of get the thoughts and feelings during the intermission of Omega, what he was thinking about when he went through that, as well as we'd be pleased if you'd be willing to have you on to comment on what you know of the run when we watch these three new runners come up, what you were thinking at the time of running these strategies that you might be implementing next time, or things that you think maybe they didn't implement. That would be kind of an interesting take, I think.
Just gotta mute everything on Discord.
Can you not? Oh, no.
Killer Dragon is saying
You can't hear Omega. Can you not? Oh. Let's try that one more time. Can't hear Omega. Go ahead.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Let's try that one more time. Go ahead. Okay.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Let's try that one more time.
Go ahead. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Let's see if we. Oh. Let's see if we get some feedback there.
That sounds crazy, because I hear echoes all over the place.
Let's see if we do this. So they hear an echo. Okay. Omega, are you there? Omega, are you there?
Yep, can you hear me?
Are you there, Omega? Are you there, Omega?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the deal is on that. It just is not wanting to not wanting to cooperate. Sorry about the echo there, by the way, Lend to the game account. I appreciate you for letting me know. I'm not entirely sure as to what's going on, and I don't know why it's not wanting to cooperate with us. I'm not entirely sure in allowing us to hear everybody in this. So. Bunch of echoes with peaceful music. I feel like I'm on a truck trip. Let's see if we can fix the echoes a little bit here. Okay. Have the echoes gotten better there? Yeah. Omega, are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah, see, I can see their little lights flashing. I can see them glowing, but I can't hear a thing that they're saying.
Here, mute everything that you have going with me.
Okay. I could hear you, but I can hear you through your stream, so. Okay, everything's muted there with you. I'll go ahead and switch real quick. Switch back. Okay, see if I can hear everybody. Can everybody hear me? Hear me? Yeah, saying I can hear no one. You just never know when you run into things like this. But yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can hear nothing on that, so. I'm not sure why that is. Let's try and. Yeah. I don't know why that is. Alright, well, we'll see if we can't get things going. We'll see if we can't just get a race going here in a second. Always run into something like this. I know that's one of the things. The next time, the objective is to get better. You can hear me. Wonderful. I'm glad you can hear me. I hope the echo is a lot better. I get to see what they're saying. I love it, but I can't hear anything that they're saying. I have no idea why. Let me turn that down a little bit. So sorry about that. Okay. You gotta love technology. Yes, the music was loud. Hopefully that is, we'll turn it down even a little bit more. I should put it just around negative 25, between negative 25 and negative 20 decibels. I don't know why. I can see that they're talking, they can hear each other, but I cannot hear them. And there's nothing that I'm doing that is allowing me to hear them. Buttons I'm pushing and all that good stuff, so. They can hear me, but I can't hear them. But I can hear the music, so it's not my headphones. So, what an interesting thing to run into. Alright, everyone. It looks like we're going to have to do this a little bit differently than we anticipated, but we will still be able to continue the races. We just had a couple of tech issues, and they are going to have to sadly take some ironing out some time. So again, we do appreciate your patience with us. For those of you who are watching this post, I'll try to cut out some of the intermission, some of the dead air for you, so that you don't have to wait for as long. For those of you who have stuck it out with us live, I greatly appreciate your patience with us and your understanding. Of course, it's all worth it to get to see such awesome people doing such an awesome thing for such an awesome reason, and that is just to have fun. So I really do appreciate that. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can speak and see if the other racers are just about ready. Looks like we have green right now. It looks like we've got Mr. Mazin. You look like you're pretty ready. So am I correct in that? Okay, perfect. And to the audience, you won't be able to hear him. I have him on an earpiece on a separate call just to make sure I can still do the countdown and it can stay as fair as possible. So we've got Mr. Mazin is ready. And wonderful. And then Mr. MegaRetroMan, Mr. Tessi, are you ready as well? Am I correct in that? Okay, wonderful. We've got his labeled. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bring this music down a little bit. We can do that. You want to do this as a test session? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, we can do that. Make sure we...
Yeah, count 5, and when I say go, you press on the player side, and then just see...
Okay, no worries. And we said we were going to pull audio from MegaRetroMan, is that correct? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull audio then. Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and pull that.
So, yes.
All right, and
Yeah, that's
Thumb, is it
correct.
you that I see that's up there on the Japanese version? Yep, I think that's probably it. No, that's okay. I just, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead. I'm going to move this over really quickly.
Oh!
Let's move that over.
Oh my god. The nerve of this dude. What's the...
I did.
Oh my god.
I didn't even notice. I'm so sorry. Oh, no, I didn't.
Imagine that. The host
This-
cheating. Unreal.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this one's this one's this one's going to be. So this one's just going to be a test session. Is that correct? We're just going to make sure that the countdown works, the clock works, and everybody's screens are working. Okay. Cool. Wonderful. So let's make sure we're where we need to be. And by we, I mean me. I apologize. Let me not burden you with my issue. Okay. All right, so we're just going to do a quick test session to make sure this works. So what should happen is we'll do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, they're going to go ahead and select. I'm going to start the clock. We're going to make sure everybody's screens are moving, and then from there we'll go ahead and, I guess we're going to restart the counter, and we'll do the real one there. Yes? Or did you want to just go ahead and go? Okay, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
Now I just want to double check. I'm having a little bit of, I think, intermittent issue with Mazin, so let me make sure. There it is. Okay, we're good. All right. And there we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the race in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we've got thumbs. Yeah, we're all up and running.
Okay,
Yeah, I think everybody's up and running. Just keep going.
There might be
Do you want to just keep going?
Okay, we're all good.
You want to reset? Okay, all right.
No,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay, that's all right. I'll go. No, you're fine. Everybody, I think Thumb wants to reset. So if everybody would be so kind and accommodating, we're. No, you're good. I considering what we had happen the last time, I think you're spot on. So, I think you're spot on. Yeah, Mazin's already going for it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and MegaRetroMan's restarting. We've got Thumb restarted. Mazin, I hope you can hear me. We need you to restart. There you. Okay. Yeah, everything's good and going. So.
Yeah, work.
Much appreciated. All right, so we've got the. Use the text speed that's double slow. All right. That lend to the gamer girl. Mazin restart. I love it. That's great. All right, so we've got Mazin's back up, MegaRetroMan's back up, and Thumb's coming back up shortly. Here we go. Mazin doesn't care. He's just going. That's good. Let's see. Homus Hero says, I've just got the odds in. Yeah. That would have been the best run ever. Not only would you have hit a PB, but you also would have just left everybody else in the dust. Oddsen from Vegas. Mazin is... that's funny. Very nice. Yeah, this one's good. As I understand, this one's good. We just wanted to make sure we didn't run into an issue like we did last time with one of the screens not moving. So, okay, everybody's ready. No. You're good. I understand it. So let's. Okay, I'm going to verify one more time, just like we did, but this time it's the real deal. MegaRetroMan, are you okay to go? Perfect. Thumb, are you good to go? Yes, sir. Mazin.
Yes, I'm good.
Perfect. All right. Countdown goes. Here we go. In. One second. I'll make sure this is right. Okay, ready? Here we go. In. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Make sure we can see. Good start. And we do have it up. Bearing in mind that we are doing this remotely, we're trying to do this with as little delay as we possibly can. But some delay is unavoidable. And we're going to try and make sure we can hear everything. Hopefully we can hear everything pretty nicely. And let's see here. Okay. I think we have some... There we go. We've got some game audio. How nice is that to have game audio this time? So sorry about that not having it last time. I'm not sure why we couldn't pull the audio. There we go. We've got some game audio. How nice is that to have game audio this time? So sorry about that. Okay. I'll turn it down a little bit because it looks like there might be an echo coming through. Somebody may be playing me through the speakers. We've got a pretty good, strong start from everybody here. Everybody just kind of speeding through the chasms, or to the chasm. Let me double check. I just want to make sure that this is as close as we can get. Okay. All right, and I'm going to turn this so that I don't hear a ton down. Okay, I feel like narrating with a British accent. If it says zombie GLT. I mean, it would be, well, if we could ever get this to go through, it would be wonderful, but we had some audio issues here. But we've got everybody out of the chasm in to the end of the palace here. And again, we kind of talked about the strategies in the previous ones. Now, these three runners here are a smidge more seasoned as speedrunners, even though we saw a phenomenal performance from Omega and from Shode. We're going to see some different strategies most likely here because of the amount of time that these guys have put into this. And so what I'm going to try to do my best is narrate what I understand to be the situation or circumstance in these strats, involved in these strats. That does not necessarily mean that I am going to be accurate. So for anybody who happens to run this game, please do commentate and let me know where I'm making a mistake, and I'll happily make that change. But in this case, right now, a lot of what's going to be happening is just making the best possible pathing that they can to either optimize their movements or to optimize their not having been seen by enemies, so as not to be seen by enemies, or to optimize their combat movements. I am trying to can make this more concise, but you have three people doing really similar strats there, and I can't seem to be concise on it. So let me go ahead and try that one more time. They're going to try to optimize their enemies, their damage, and their movement. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And so as Thumb let us know earlier, we actually have the pots here, which do 4 damage, and he's going for a quick swipe strategy. Pinning them up against the wall, we can actually see a little bit of a different strategy there with Mazin, kind of getting it caught in the in-between. And we have MegaRetroMan already in and to the chest, as well as Thumb. This is actually pretty neck and neck for them. And Mazin seems to be running into some trickier issues there, but he grabs the key. This is actually a really good neck and neck race as well, with a pretty good. This has got a pretty good start, pretty strong start to it. Let's see here. I felt like I was watching Wimbledon. Do I have? Is my voice? I'm not a British individual. I'm just curious. Is my voice? Does it invoke that kind of feeling? Am I too calm for it? Perhaps. The zombie players. Very nice. This is Zombie, and our players are now working their ways down to Princess Zelda's rooms. Nice. Very fun. Okay, so I apologize. Yeah, so we've got a pretty neck and neck right here. They're now leading Zelda back out. Everybody has Zelda in tow. And again, right here, they're going to try their best to optimize as they can. We see MegaRetroMan take a little bit of damage there, using the iframes to escape. Thumb is out the same. And again, Thumb and MegaRetroMan look to be pretty neck and neck, with Mazin not far behind at all. Even to the point of this. Now, we talked about the text box optimization. A disgusting English accent, unsubscribe. It's definitely just one of the many that there are, and it's certainly not a good one, so I couldn't blame you. And so, again, we're almost looking at a frame for frame here between Mega and Thumb. Again, Mazin's not far behind either, so this is going to be a pretty tense race for the Master Sword. Now, remember, in this case, we aren't doing necessarily any... we're not necessarily doing... Let me take my earpiece out for a second. We're not necessarily doing no death runs. We're not necessarily doing anything that... it's not going to be perfect all the way through. It's the idea of this is just to have fun, but we are looking at some very proficient runners. We looked at some really great runs before as well, so... point of this is to have fun, but we are probably going to see some pretty interesting strats here because some of these strategies have been implemented over the course of some of these runners, having done this, tens of times, if not hundreds. You'll also notice that there's a timer up there at the top with Thumbs. So Thumbs actually got his own split running here. So this isn't an official run. This isn't something to be submitted to speedruns.net or whatever the official site might be in this. This is something to kind of get us an idea. As we start to get a little bit more and more refined on this, we'll work to try and see what we can do to better our tech and our implementation. So we do appreciate you for being patient with us and allowing this to be the setup for you at the moment. So in these, again, in the text boxes here, everybody using the text boxes, the idea is to mash buttons, everything but X. X will bring up the map, and if everybody has their paths memorized, the map is somewhat vestigial. So in this case, they're going to try and just mash the buttons, get through it as quickly as they possibly can without hitting the X button, and they're going to, from there, they're going to have to start kind of where the trickier pathing and movement that's going to be where they're going to have to try to nail down on that. And again, Mazin here not far behind, taking a little bit of safety. And we have from Thumb a save and quit just there, followed right there by Mega. So we can actually see Thumb actually has just a little bit of a head start right there on Mega right now. And again, Mazin's running pretty cleanly. Mazin seems to be running pretty cleanly just behind them. And your runs a pretty good show. I agree with. Again, for everybody who hadn't seen this, obviously we've got some great racers going right now. But for anybody who hadn't gotten to, or if you do get to after the fact, please do go look at Omega and Shode's runs. They did a phenomenal job, expert in showing that you can jump into something and be good at it, and showing skill and tenacity and just outright fun. So again, please do check these guys out and take a look at theirs. And the same thing with MegaRetroMan, Paul Tessi, and I Don't Give a Thumb, MazinPower. Please do go check these guys out. All of their links are in the description down below. You can actually see them doing these types of speed runs more casually. You can see them working on specific strats. And in some instances, you can see them playing other games instead of just Zelda. So if Zelda's not your cup of tea, you might see a Contra run, a Ninja Gaiden run. Heck, a Castlevania run might even sneak in there. All right, and so we definitely see some really, again, we're right neck and neck with MegaRetroMan actually having taken a slight lead, just a slight lead here. This is a phenomenal series of races, and right now, again, we're using the idea is just to kind of optimize movements to try and avoid getting hit, and they're going to try as best as they possibly can also to optimize spawn. So in this particular room that MegaRetroMan is in, there is a very particular position that you can take where you actually can hit the skeletons before they spawn, and or you can hit the spaces right as they spawn. You're also going to notice again that treasure chests are not something like we normally would, where you're just collecting it. Let's see here. Too bad DLP couldn't participate. Yeah, and one for sure. One for Mazin's channel. Wonderful, yeah. And I've got everybody, yeah, if Omega, thank you so much for helping out with that, too. That's a great way to do it. If you guys are in the chat and you want to take a look at these guys, bookmark them and subscribe to them for later, please do. They are wonderful people. I've had the pleasure of getting to talk with several of them. I've met 2 of them today, and I've gotten to talk to several of them for years. They have my full endorsement as far as fun gamers go and people that just enjoy having fun. So, and it's something I definitely recommend is to check out their channels and see what they're up to. So, the trade back and forth here. This is a really interesting thing because we're seeing the trade back and forth between Thumb and Mega. Oh, and we saw. Did we see it? Yes. I think we did. I think we saw Thumb go ahead and use the iframe strat for the anti-fairy room, where you can press the button and use the iframes. We saw the same thing there from just MegaRetroMan. You can actually use the anti-fairies, gather their iframes, push that button without having to do all of the enemies. Wonderful job there. See if we see the same from Mazin. So Mazin's got he did go ahead. Oh, he had a little bit. Oh my goodness. I don't understand why. He did try to use the same strat. I don't know why it did not let him push that button. But yeah, normally the idea, use those iframes, press that button, chest appears, you get your chest. We did see it done there. So that was just bad luck on Mazin's part. That was not poor execution. That was just bad luck. So here we are in the anti-fairy room. Again, this one's one that can kind of dodge you with on thumb screen. You can see it now on MegaRetroMan. And this is, again, not all of this is necessarily RNG. There are spaces that are safe all the way around, and they're making expert use of these. And they're also making expert use of arrow management mechanics right now. And of course, we talked about the damage. Damage done with the sword is 1. Damage done with the sword spin is 2. Damage done with an arrow is 2. Damage done with a pot is 4. So very, very nice. And a big thank you to Omega for making it even easier to put all of that there. I very much appreciate that. And I know that they will too. Again, check these guys out. Please do. Check these guys out. Omega, I don't know if you put yours in there too, but please do if you can. I have it down in my description always, but if you have the ability to, please do put your link in there too. I would very much like that, not to be overlooked. If you're willing to do so. And so now we have pendants. We have our first pendants in MegaRetroMan and in I Don't Give a Thumb. Mazin back to the iframe room where he executes it brilliantly. And back to the text boxes, navigating the D-pad. I'm sorry, not the D-pad, the button pad. If you don't mind, yeah, I would certainly not like you to be overlooked in that. He got it this time. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think in that case, it was not a matter of his execution. It was a matter of bad luck, because he got iframes twice, and that button was not pushed. So I'm not quite sure exactly why that was. Okay, and we've got our text boxes again, and here we're going to see our save and quit again, so that we can optimize spawn. Spawning back at the house. And we see that again. So we're actually seeing MegaRetroMan and I Don't Give a Thumb trade pretty well back and forth. Now we're going to start seeing some open world dashing. Some very precise dashing here, because again, you can bonk if you end up doing... if you end up hitting a solid surface, you don't stop dash on time, you can bonk, and that loses you a couple of frames. So we're going to start seeing some really optimized dashing here. And also to try to avoid enemies, because enemies are part of that which can slow you down. Mazin making quick work of the skeleton room by using the pot strategy, throwing pots at both the skeletons, takes them down immediately. Back in with a brilliant sword swipe, and he's using arrow management again, and the brilliant 2 and 2. Now, a really quick thing to make note of, if you were looking at Mazin's screen just there, is the well, I gotta take a look at something now. What happened? I'm not sure why MegaRetroMan doesn't seem to be moving anymore. And I just checked this source window. I'm not sure what's going on there. MazinPower has the pendant, his first pendant. The arrows, one of the things about the arrow mechanics in this is that arrow mechanics are, they operate as if you only have one arrow at a time. So if your arrow is fired and it does not hit a target, which is to say it doesn't hit a wall, doesn't hit an enemy, then your second arrow cannot be fired. Once your first arrow finds the wall or finds the enemy or whatever the target might be, then you can actually fire that second arrow. But otherwise, you're going to get an idle animation where he kind of pulls the bowstring, but he hasn't knocked the arrow. So, and I'm not sure. Thank you so much, Omega. I really very much appreciate that. I'm not sure what's going on. I just checked the live, and it's also down. So, I'm not sure what's going on. If something happened, I hope he's okay though. All right, so we've got we've got Mazin here going ahead and using that save and quit for spawn purposes. I don't give a thumb using some very nice dashing in his pathing here. A little bit more narrow. And Mazin's coming straight back out of the gate with expert pathing as well. Very, very, very impressive pathing just there. And very nice to slow down right there. Threading the needle of those, he gets the big key for the master dungeon, for the master door of the dungeon, makes his way through. Again, one of the things I just made note of, and Thumb has made a perfect example of, is that in most cases, as you're playing through casually, you're going to want to open up every chest and figure out what's in it. These guys are pros. They know what's in every chest. So you're going to see, perhaps frustratingly, you're going to see several chests left unopened. And that's because they know what's in them and they know they don't need it. So that's just part of the running process, is to go quickly and not to go completely in this particular run. Again, this is a Master Sword run, so they're not looking for 100%. They're just looking to get to the Master Sword. I'm not sure what's up with his stream at the moment. I'm not either. If you, I took a look at the page, and that's how it is on the page. It on the actual the stream that he's got. That's how it is on there. So I'm wondering if it's a web-based something on his side, or if something has happened on mine. But everyone else seems to be running okay. I'll take another quick look. Yeah, I can see he's not paused or anything. So on my side, he's not paused. He's going. So I'm not sure. Is it frozen on your side? He's talking. Okay. He's aware his stream froze. Okay. Yeah, I can't hear him on my side. So let's pull that back up just to see. I can hear him saying, okay, you're at YouTube. Okay. All right. Well, that means our audio is probably gone just a little bit. So let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and mute the audio there, and I'll just play the soft music in the background again, if that's okay with everybody. That's soft music. There we go. That should be nice and soft. Okay. And yeah, hopefully he'll send me a link and I can go ahead and pop him back up. Or if he's, my understanding is we're doing 2 races here, so he may just decide to DNF the first one and then go ahead and participate in the second one, if that's what it is. Music a little bit, sure can. Is that a little bit better? Okay. And so we have our worm fight right here. Now again, this is one of the ones where bonking on the wall is actually beneficial. Better? Okay, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. No worries. I want to make sure. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Omega. I appreciate it. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's one of the things. It happens. Oh, and in the blink of an eye, Thumb has already claimed his second pendant here. And in the case of this, you will see it in Mazin's. Again, this is one of the bosses where bonking is actually a benefit because it helps set up your position. So the idea is to go into bonk on that back wall, and or maybe I have blinked in this, but anyway, is to bonk on that back wall, and then is to try to get as many arrows into the worms as you possibly can. After that, it's going to be pretty well RNG, and so from there, it's going to be just trying to kind of do whatever strategies you know. So there we see a bonk right there to get past the tile room. Very, very nice. This tile room's a little bit more forgiving than the second one. And you forget sometimes how adorable some of these enemies in Zelda are, in The Legend of Zelda are, especially in Link to the Past. That the little squirming cactus are always pretty funny. Key right there, left under the flower pot, as I'm sure most of us have done. And Thumb's got a pretty good right now. Thumb's got a pretty good lead. He's back already in the he's already in the caverns, leading the elderly man. We talked about this before. With leading the elderly man, you move a little bit slower and you cannot dash. because you want the elderly man to be able to stay in tow is, I'm sure, the canonical reason, but mechanically it just doesn't allow you to do so. So you have to kind of just make sure that your pathing is clear and that your text box navigation is clear too. So Mazin's opting to take a strat here, swipe strat, where he's just kind of coming to the holes as quickly as he can and taking a few swipes at it. He got really nice, decent luck with that right there, as he was able to pretty well consolidate his arrows and take a good amount. They put a good amount of damage on the worms. So very, very nice. And one worm down, of course. Thumb on his way back, no longer hindered by the pedestrian in tow. And then there's Mazin's fight right there, where he'll be reclaiming, or he'll be claiming his second pendant. And we have our first transfer between worlds and back up. And again, remember that if you see something unclaimed, it's unclaimed for the sake of speed. So if you see something laying on the floor behind it, it's unclaimed for that reason. Okay, and we see another save and quit to go ahead and spawn, or choose spawn point. As Thumb makes his way into the dungeon, grabs the key, comes back out, and again, a lot of this is going to be to try and avoid the enemies as you can, with as expert a pathing as you possibly can, because this is where the fight can get incredibly frustrating, and this dungeon can get incredibly frustrating, and the fight that comes at the end of it can get very frustrating as well. So we have the tile room here. And this one, again, not as forgiving as the first one. It looks like he's going to take the strategy of swipe or boomerang. Very, very nice. Oh, and he's actually using the hold the sword strategy I made mention of in the previous race, where it's just boomerang if you want, and then you can use a sword swipe, and you can hold your sword to the ready there. And Mazin, of course, is taking the dashless part here with the elderly man in tow, navigating the text box quite well, and making his way out of that cave. And again, that's the obligatorily slowest part of it. Again, other parts of the race can have RNG that slow it down for you, but that one slows your actual movement speed down. So it's not just a matter of restarting. It's excuse me. It's not just a matter of restarting. It's a matter of being slow while you're going, optimally. Okay. So now we have what on Thumb's screen there, we have what might be considered a more frustrating piece here. They have a pratfall right on the way out of the door, and this part is remarkably frustrating for anybody who has ever played it casually. You know that falling in these holes resets a ton of progress, or can reset a ton of progress depending on where you go and how you go about it. So Thumb very expertly hugging that bottom wall to avoid the fall. Looks like you shouldn't be able to, but he does brilliantly. And making his way out. Mazin into the final dungeon here. And following much up, he's making up a lot of ground. If he can, this could be a make or break thing. This race is not one that is automatically a given. So even though Thumb's here, if Thumb happens to be bumped off this platform by this boss, if he is bumped off once or twice, this can happen multiple times. It's possible Mazin's got a pretty good window of opportunity that he also be given some extra. But looks like Thumb's taking some pretty great charge strats. But he did get bumped off, so there's a little bit of a time loss just there. It's not a substantial one. He grabs an extra heart container, it looks like, and then comes forward, or an extra heart, rather, for his heart container. And then comes forward for the fight again. Again, one of the most frustrating bosses. I think I likened it to bosses in Empire Strikes Back. Those are the only bosses I can think of that are worse, but there he is again. It is just the name of the game. Bumped back off. He's going straight for it. No pots for this one. This has given Mazin a little bit of a window here. So this is, again, it's not 100%, but if Mazin can optimize some of his movements and can get this set up with that boss fight on the first one, on the first go, he may very well have an opportunity to catch up. So we almost lost Thumb just again there on the corner. This is the boss is kind of like a bouncing, rubbery thing. So if you're wondering why in the world he's getting bounced all over the place. See, look at that corner right there. Beautiful fight. I thought he was going to fall off just there, but he handled it brilliantly. That is the boss down. One of the most frustrating bosses in Super Nintendo history. Down. Looks like he got grazed by the by bullet hit his ear, yeah. Just got him. You can see him on the edge of that map, and so there is the third pendant. Very, very impressive. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how Mazin approaches this fight. To see if he's able to, excuse me, to see if he's able to just kind of pop in and take him down, or if it's going to actually knock him off a few times too. This is can be a very frustrating fight. And if you've not played it, I urge that you go through and at least play to that part, because it definitely can be frustrating. It's a fun game. It's a very fun game, but this can be a very frustrating part. What's that? Yep, that was impressive. So here we go. Mazin's in there on the boss. We've got Thumb making great progress towards the Master Sword. Already in the haze of the forest. Mazin using some charge strats or dash strats here. Very, very nice. And staying towards the center. Now, again, I made mention of it in the last race. Little hole in the middle to try to keep you from staying in the center of the wall. Also to kind of make the movements a little bit more erratic. Oh my goodness. But Mazin, without a single bump, makes his way through the third boss, gets himself that. It isn't going to be quite fast enough, as it looks like Thumb has come to the Master Sword with all 3 pendants first, so we're going to go ahead and call time of the first one as soon as he pulls the Master Sword just there, and we do text box. And that's going to be time. So he's got 2509. His is going to be more correct than mine is, because I have to do a few things to get there. So 2509 is a darn impressive run. Very, very nice. Anyone who is wanting to show support, please do offer your GGs and your good games, your congratulations to Thumb for a complete run. And please do continue to cheer Mazin on as Mazin does his best here. Now, I think we're having a little bit of an intermittent issue with his connection, but he was able to, it looks like he was able to successfully path. So there's the bonk we just saw. He bonked into that. You saw it bumping back. You lose a couple of frames there. Nothing too terribly major at this point in the run. We're kind of just here at the end, so no big deal. He's just making his way through. GG. It's very, very nice, yes. So. And just makes his way through up to the pedestal. And there we are, all 3 pendants to the Master Sword. Not more than a few seconds after we saw it done the first time. Now we see it done the second time with Mazin. And sadly, MegaRetroMan, his stream froze. I'm not sure why, but we are going to do a second race where we'll hopefully get to have him in there participating. Very, very impressive from all of our runners. Running at somewhere between 25 and 27 just there. Very, very impressive. Everybody's going to get ready to restart. I will go ahead and move us over, if everybody's okay with this. I'm going to go over and move us to an intermission so that I can speak with the racers, make sure we get everything situated with MegaRetroMan so we can see his awesome run, because I have no doubt that's going to be fun to watch, in addition to these great gamers. But please, in the interim, while we're listening to all this great music and seeing all this, please do show your support for these guys with the GGs. Congratulations, well dones, whatever it might be that's comfortable for you. And if you feel so inclined, don't hesitate to look through the chat where Mr. Omega Ace has posted, or in the description where I've posted links to all of these guys' channels. I highly recommend you check them out. They are awesome people. So let me go ahead really quickly. I'm going to put us on our intermission screen. We're going to get everything situated. We'll be right back with that second race. welcome everybody back. Welcome everybody back for the next race. We're going to attempt as best as we possibly can to get this last race underway in a respectable time frame. I want to say thank you to everybody who's popped in, said hi, shown support. Those of you who pop in after the fact while this is a video on demand VOD, I really appreciate that as well. A huge thank you to everybody who's participated in this, and the racers, and the people who've given their time to help make this something that happened. Again, also thank you for your patience, considering all of the back and forths. We're going to work to continue to refine this, but thank you so much for being patient with us. It has been a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fade us back over. Just drop that a little bit there. Okay, and I can see that we've got two of the, we've got two racers on the screen there. We'll let Thumb go ahead and get to the main screen just there. And we're going to do this the same way that we did it before, which is basically just to get a countdown and go. And we've got Thumb Bros. Now, something was brought to my attention. I want to go ahead and offer a quick clarification. I made a mistake there. I said I don't give a thumb. That should be Thumb Bros. That is completely my fault. It will be corrected for the next time. So when I'm saying thumb, that's who I'm referring to there. Is that top center screen there, Thumb Bros. So, but in future, I will have that corrected. All right, just to make sure I've got everyone. Everybody seems to be on their menu screens. Make sure, are we all good to go? Mazin, Thumb, MegaRetroMan. Okay. Everybody is good to go and on their screens. Countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We're seeing some pretty quick and easy starts here. There we go. That way I'm not inundated with noise. Alright, everybody's getting started here. Now, you will, again, note, I want to go ahead and make another point that was brought up, and of course, this is something I think that is very, very important for people who take the speedrunning aspect very seriously. Of course, the master clock that we have here is kind of like an event clock. It's not made to be taken specifically, so please do refer, if you do see a clock or you're looking at the individual stream, please do refer to their clocks, as their clocks are likely to be quite a bit more accurate. There is some latency that we have to kind of account for in these with different connection speeds, different platforms, and so mine's always going to be give or take a little bit. So in this case, we can see the difference between mine and Thumb's about give or take 6-7 seconds. And that's usually about the latency that YouTube gives us. So Thumb's clock is probably pretty darn on the marker for him, as is Mazin for him, and as is MegaRetroMan's for his. Who's the best time so far? I believe the quickest time so far is Thumb. So far on the record. Now, granted, his time again is going to be more accurate than mine, but I believe he was. I believe he has the fastest time so far. And of course, we're going to get to see this now with MegaRetroMan here. And I have to say, I don't know what in the world it is that MegaRetroMan is using, but my goodness, if the colors on his don't seem a little bit richer. I'm not sure if he's using a retro tink or what, but my goodness, it's kind of got a deeper color hue to it, at least to my eyes. But all of them look really good, as does the racer form here. Now again, I'm just going to try and do my best. Obviously, on their respective channels, they're going to give you their specific strategies, but I'm going to do my best to try and navigate some of the basic strats that these guys might be using or implementing here, and to try to narrate that for you. Of course, if you are interested in getting involved, any of these people that I have here or have had here racing on the channel, or that are down in the links below that are in the chat, would be a great resource for just games in general. Three we have on screen are recorded speedrunners who do a fair amount of variety. and I highly recommend checking out everybody. We had a wonderful race earlier today with Omega Ace and Shode. Really fantastic. Check both of those guys out. Check these guys out. It's great. I really do. I really recommend that. One last one. Testing second. Mazin, yeah. Oh, his screen froze. Gotcha. Okay. I did. We didn't get to see. We didn't get to see the Tessi run, sadly. So this time we should be able to get to see the Tessi run. That'll be very nice. All right, and so we see quick work right there on thumb screen to grab the key, grab the chest, and bring Zelda in tow. Now again, this game can be really, in my opinion, can be relegated to three major categories of strategy. That is going to be movement. That is going to be, and movement can have subcategories if you want to, but that's going to be your general movement. That's going to be your combat/avoidance movement, and then that's going to be your boss fights, right? Which obviously are a combination of those things. But in this case, you can path. You're going to have characters in tow twice. You can path openly with the dash, and the idea is to avoid as many enemies as possible because having to fight them is going to slow you down. If you do have to fight them, having to fight them with rapid pressing the stab button is going to be a lot longer than throwing a pot, shooting an arrow, or doing a spin sword attack on them. So they're going to be implementing as many of these different varieties of things, of attacks and of avoidance technique as they can. Let me try to make that an actual sentence. They're going to try to implement as many of these in as appropriate a place as they can, as often as they can. How does that sound? My goodness. I let my mind run away before my brain, so my apologies. And so all of them, even though we do have a little bit of latency, a little bit of difference between them. We can see a 6-second delay between me and Thumb. We can see a 6-second delay between Thumb and Mazin, but we actually see a pretty tight race here with all of them doing a pretty darn good job of mitigating any issue or any frame loss. Looks like a lot of them are avoiding that. We talked about also menu navigation. And if you take a look at the way that these guys are actually having to push through, they're trying not to hit the X button at any given time. That's going to pop their map up. That's going to slow the run down to a grinding halt. So even when they're trying to speed things up, they're going to be hitting every button on the controller except for that X button up top, trying to speed up those text boxes. One thing that was of note was brought up at the very beginning. They are playing the English version of this. There is a Japanese version which is a little bit faster for text box purposes, as well as a couple of other odds and ends here that I don't think I'm yet qualified to speak on. So. But it is this is a slightly slower version, and yet we see 3 people running it with expert speed and agility, navigating the sewers here. And again, a huge thank you to Omega, who's dropping links in the chat right now. If you happen to be in the chat and happen to be seeing these, please do click on these links. Check these guys' channels out: Omega Ace Gaming, Shode, MegaRetroMan or Paul Tessi, Thumb Bros, and MazinPower. All fantastic people within this community of gamers and speedrunners. And again, if speedrunning isn't your cup of tea, no worries. These guys all have great communities of people who just enjoy playing games. Don't let that stop you from checking these guys out. Please do. Please do check them out. So again, we have some really close movements here, and I don't think, despite the fact that we did have a 6-second delay in the timers, I don't necessarily know if the delay in between them are an actual 6 seconds. I'm not sure if it's an actual 6-second delay here, because it looks a lot closer than that to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to go ahead and navigate the text boxes again by pressing the buttons other than the X. Grab the heart container. We're going to use the first save and quit. Now again, for those of you who might be popping in just now, save and quit is a strategy used to help bring you into or spawn you into a different part of the game from earlier. It prevents you from having to path your way all the way back. And we can see right now that everybody's kind of got a similar strategy in terms of the way that they're pathing and the way that they are using their save and quit. So you can definitely tell the strategy. You can definitely tell that these are people that have been running the strategy for a time. Definitely tell that that's the strategy to go with as well. And trying to navigate their way back into a dungeon. Having finished Escape, this is going to be the very first, just the kind of very first indication of how they're going to handle the enemies. Although most of this seems to still be pretty controlled, a lot of this doesn't seem to be as much RNG. There are definitely still some weird elements here, so we can kind of take a look and see how they path here. The thing about the game that kind of does a really, I think, decent job is that the RNG seems to ramp up as the game progresses. So if if you're taking a look at this right now and saying, well, everybody seems to be following the same pattern, it is because the RNG, as you go on, the RNG ramps up and the strats kind of have to get a little bit more innovated. You have to be a little bit more able to read off the cuff. Thumb in this room right here, trying to avoid the top of that button switch which spawns the skeletons. Same thing with Mazin here. It looks like MegaRetroMan did spawn the skeletons. There's a little box just above. You can't see it. It's an invisible box just above the button there. And touching that box with Link will cause 2 skeletons to spawn. Skeletons. And so to avoid that, they were able to avoid that and to go ahead and get what they needed to and go through the door without having to spawn or deal with the skeletons. Hamasio says it's very super close between all three. These are some seasoned professionals when it comes to this, and I think they're doing a pretty darn good job of demonstrating that. So yeah, they're despite the fact that we generally have a little bit of a delay between us because we are broadcasting this not all live. Obviously, if this were done live, it'd be a little bit easier for us to all kind of make sure everything is synchronized. But with us doing this remotely and having an inevitable delay, this is remarkably close. If we take a look at MegaRetroMan and Mazin, it is absolutely neck and neck. With Thumb being a little bit ahead of that. And he's just gotten into the anti-fairy room. Now they're using a trick right here where they're abusing iframes. That's the idea. Poor Mazin has had the worst luck with the abusing iframes there. And I have no idea why that is, but there's a button underneath those anti-fairies. Using the invincibility frames to tap that button allows the chest to appear, which allows you to get the key, which allows you to advance. And it's just bad luck if you're not able to use those iframes. It's not a bad strategy, it's just bad luck sometimes. MegaRetroMan going ahead and reclaiming the bow, or claiming the bow, I suppose. I say reclaiming because this is the second race in the series. And we can actually see here that there's only a slight divergence between the paths. So we saw a neck and neck between MegaRetroMan and Mazin, and those iframes kind of slow it down a little bit. So there are plenty of opportunities in the future here to catch up. We have this anti-fairy room, the boss fights. We've got a lot of areas of where there could be a great delay, or there could be a kind of great repetitive frustration. So this is anyone's race up until the very end. It really is. So we've got Thumb going in to take out the boss, and the first series of bosses right here. He takes out the little ones, and he's using arrow. 1, 2, 2, 1. Really, really good. And I talked about this before. I'm going to talk again. Each time it happens, I talk about it because I don't know at what point people are coming in. I don't know what point they're seeing this, so I repeat myself a little bit. Hopefully it's of benefit. But the arrow mechanics just there when he came into the first area guarding that boss fight, and he's now into the full-on boss fight, is that using arrows is not just a matter of pressing the button rapidly. Arrows are not shot unless the second arrow cannot be shot unless the first arrow makes its target. So they are having to time out their shots. They're having to make sure that their shots are making contact. And now here we see MegaRetroMan and Thumb both claiming a pendant. They are now neck and neck with Mazin with a slight delay, but not slight enough to make it, not slight enough to take him out of the race. Yeah, this is a good race. This is a good race. This is really fun to watch too. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, and I hope the runners who have been incredibly willing and patient to deal with all of this have had a fun time thus far. I really do. It has been a pleasure to get to talk with all of them again and to get to do this. So. Here and lurking, this is awesome. Always wonderful to have you, love. Always wonderful. And yes, I'm enjoying this. I'm so glad to hear that, Killer Dragon. I am very, very much glad to hear that. This is a fantastic race. This is truly one of the better races that I've gotten to see. Considering, again, we're considering there's a lot of stuff that can change. There's a lot of stuff that can go right and wrong in this with synchronicity. When speedrunning comes in, time is a very, very, very big factor here. And we're still seeing a neck-and-neck race, respectively. So obviously the respective timers are going to tell the truth, but based on what we can see here, this is fun, this is entertaining, and these are some great runners doing some great strategies. Very, very impressive. So we've got Mazin back in here in this initial fight. The first fight here for his first pendant. He's going to use the same thing. Remember, the arrow strategy in this case is key. He's making sure only to pull that once his has made the target, which is doing wonderfully. And again, MegaRetroMan and Thumbros are again neck and neck. My goodness, this is impressive. Again, restarting to spawn and almost perfectly spawned in the same place, or same way. Now, if I remember this correctly, I can't quite see MegaRetroMan's clock, but I do believe that, technically speaking, his start seemed to be after Thumbs. If that is indeed the case, he may even be making a slightly better time than we have him anticipated, or quite a bit better time than we have him anticipated on here. We might actually anticipate him to be a few hundredths of a second before Thumbs. So that's very, 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 very impressive. Very cool. How we found? Let's see. we found out if any of the contestants have tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know. There's some unusually colored bottles of a potion of some sort that people seem to be using, and I'm not sure if it's legal. Hope everyone's having a great day. I hope so too. I hope everybody's having fun. I'm enjoying everyone's enjoyment. That's good. I'm glad. And I hope you yourself are having some fun. I know this has had to be exasperating and it's time consuming, and you've been very patient with us, and I very much appreciate that. Omega, they're patient with me, so I very much appreciate that. This is very, very close. MegaRetroMan etching out just a little bit of a lead there, but it's enough of a lead that it could. I mean, there are areas where this could actually, it could go either way, but this could be widened by some optimization in the pathing here, as well as this boss fight coming up. So very, very nice. I'm having a ball. Good, good. I'm so glad to hear that. We've got Mazin coming back into the spawn. We've got his little Mazin character to keep us company while the screen goes black. And again, very brilliant. I love this thread the needle strategy here, where it's a dash, stop, and then thread the needle between the cannonballs, and then back up to the chest, back down. Expertly executed by both Mega and Thumbros just there. And of course now they're just pathing their way back, now that they've gotten the key. MazinPower with the overworld using a little bit more of a liberal pathing strategy, because he's got a little bit more room that he can run within, and that's going to help make up a lot of. It's going to help him make up a lot of extra room here. And avoiding the lasers, making their way up to the large chest here, and they've gone ahead and claimed their power gloves, and are on the way back down. We've got Mazin here going ahead and pathing his way back up, switching to his bow and arrow, it looked like. And making his way back. Yeah, alright, wonderful. Alright, MegaRetroMan making his way back out and up. Here we go to some of the, this is going to be a little bit more, I guess, indicative of the some more of the RNG elements as we're going to start seeing ramp up, especially when we start getting into these boss fights that are coming up. And this is actually pretty, again, this is pretty close between MegaRetroMan, Thumb, and Mazin. I wouldn't say any of them at this point in time are out of the race. Very, very close between MegaRetroMan and Thumbros. And again, Mazin's not far behind, so we've got a pretty good, we've actually got a really good race still, I think. And, let's see here what I hope the buffering is strictly on my end. I'm not showing any buffering on mine. I'm so sorry if you ran into it. No, I'm getting it here too. Oh no, that's not good. It's not showing that I lost any frames, but I hope I didn't just go offline. I think the buffering stopped. Okay, I'm glad. I don't know what happened. It didn't show it on my side, but I mean, if you said it happened, it happened. Okay, well, anyway, let me get back into this. I'm so sorry. We take a look at this fight, the Worms fight. In this particular fight, you've got these guys taking on some of the RNG, first RNG of the game. Again, the basic strategy, I understand, is to go ahead and run in, charge in, bonk off of that back wall to get set up, and then use arrows to get a couple of quick, I wouldn't call them cheap, definitely well-earned, but some quick hits in. And almost a picture finish just there. Look at that, with MegaRetroMan grabbing a pendant just after Thumb received his. Again, we're back neck and neck. This is impressive. It's good now. Okay, good. Good. Goodness sakes, I was worried there. And welcome in, Carla. Very close. It is. It is incredibly close. Look at, I mean, you can see this is impressive. And here we are going ahead, starting again, so that they can start from the sanctuary. And here we're probably going to see some pretty optimal pathing. The idea, I think, is going to be to charge or dash in a very particular way to make their way out towards that third and final dungeon. Hey everyone again, welcome in Great White North. Good to see you again. We've got a heck of a race for a finale. I mean, you can't be upset at this, I don't think. My goodness. And Mazin going ahead and lighting the sconces, so as to go ahead and reveal the secrets behind the wall. Alright, now we have the obligatory slowdown on MegaRetroMan and Thumb Bros, wherein, again, we have this elderly gentleman in tow, and as a result of this, we cannot dash, we cannot move as quickly as we normally do. And we have some text boxes, so this is about as slow in this particular run as it can be. Because it is, you have an elderly gentleman in tow. We have to be very considerate of him. Meanwhile, Mazin taking on the worms expertly. A couple of arrows planted in them, and then you notice, again, this is a great point to go ahead and bring up, that if he fires an arrow and that arrow doesn't make its target immediately, he cannot fire an arrow until that other arrow does. So he's using a sword strategy here, doing very well. Looks like 2 worms, 3 worms down. Wonderful. He's going to go ahead and get him his heart container, center him, and he will receive a pendant, his second pendant of the run. And we've got the slow charge up the ladder, which was done wonderfully, right into dash and pathing for MegaRetroMan. And Thumb is right on his heels as they change sides of the world. And back. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody's on a good. I mean, this is really good, really tight race. Everybody has done really well with their pathing, with their strategies. I mean, this is a very impressive run for, I think, all 3 people. Now, again, these guys are guys that run, I think, fairly frequently, so they may have a different standard as to what they want to get out of these runs. But I can say, for those of us who are watching casual racing, you know, this is impressive. I don't know about you guys, but to me, this is ridiculously impressive, and certainly beyond my skill level. And I will practice so that I can hopefully contend with some of these guys in the near future. MegaRetroMan in the tile room. Now, this tile room, unlike the first one, isn't as forgiving. You cannot skip this one, so you do have to sit there and try not to get hit by the tiles. They're going to form a little skull and crossbone. The idea is just to go ahead and use this. You can use whatever strategy you want to, but just to use your sword or whatever else. Now, Thumb is using a strategy that I'm more familiar with, which is to hold the sword out using the boomerang on occasion to take out the tiles. But of course, anyway, this is the same amount of time for the most part, just because the tiles come at you at the same speed. And we do see MegaRetroMan go ahead and clear that. And Thumb, with only a few tiles left, clears that as well. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, we also have MegaRetroMan having claimed the big key. And now he begins his ascent to that third boss and a plethora of skull switches. Very, very cool. And Mazin coming right up here too, headed straight for that final dungeon, making that slow ascent on the ladder. The ladder, by the way, is a naturally slow thing, so the pathing after that matters much more than pathing before and after matter much more than that ladder, because that ladder does slow you down quite a bit. So anyone looking at that going, my goodness, that ladder does slow you down. Again, this dungeon, this final dungeon right here, is going to have a lot of skill necessary in terms of pathing an enemy, a little bit more RNG available, and again, there are holes in the floor. The holes singe down to the story prior, so that's the kind of frustration that you deal with on this level, as well as with this boss, or in this dungeon, I should say. And we have MegaRetroMan on the 5th floor, ready to head in for the boss fight. Again, this boss fight is tricky. The objective is to stay on the platform while beating the boss. The boss is kind of a rubbery material and will bounce you all over the place if you fail to contain him. So falling off of this can cost precious seconds, and this could be the difference between Thumb or MegaRetroMan or even Mazin popping in and taking this down. I mean, it's still anybody's game. And there's the first fall right there for MegaRetroMan. So he's going to go straight for it. He's going straight for it. No pots to take in with him. A very gutsy strategy. Very nice. We've got Thumb really doing well to kind of mitigate his being on the outside there. And again, we got Mazin not far behind, just in the tile room right there. So to add perspective, I know you're seeing these bosses. Oh, Thumb taking the boss out, winning some precious seconds right there with having not fallen off. That is brilliant. Again, this is when I say this is anybody's game, you can see how quickly it can switch up. But to add into perspective here, the case with the cases here is they just fought the boss, but Mazin is right there in that dungeon there with them. So it's again, this could be anybody's game. It's going to really come down to Mazin handling that boss like a boss, and in the last race he did a fantastic job. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles this one. We've got Thumb right there, already spawned back into the overworld. We've got MegaRetroMan right on his heels, using the save and quit to go ahead and spawn from the sanctuary. And Mazin heading in to his ascent for the final boss. And so the idea right now is to get this to go ahead and navigate the misty part of the forest all the way up to the Master Sword with all 3 pendants, so you can go ahead and claim it. And this is really just going to come down to pathing, especially between MegaRetroMan and Thumb Bros. It's going to be the pathing. It's going to be whether or not they bonk on anything, and it looks like Thumb coming up. All 3 pendants. He's at the Master Sword podium, so it looks like Thumb's going to take this one. Now, I don't know if we're taking this for this purpose. Again, timers be what they are, but 24:22 for Thumb Bros just there. And that's time grabbing the Master Sword right there. That's also time. That will be time for MegaRetroMan now. Very nice. That is very impressive. The time, I'm interested because obviously I have the over timer, which is kind of an interesting thing, but each of these gentlemen are running their own timers. I'm very interested to hear what the timing came out to between MegaRetroMan and I Don't Give a Thumb. Again, big GG's, applause, congratulations, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you would like to say congratulations to these gentlemen for having run this, for having done so well, and continue to cheer Mazin off as he finishes this final leg of the race as well, taking on the boss fight. And hopefully we're going to see if he can do so without falling off. He did the last time. He did it brilliantly. Let's see. He's doing a pretty great job of keeping him zoned, so very, very nice. And I gotta say, that's one thing with Mazin so far, having seen him race the first time and now this time, I was not worried nearly as much about him falling off of the edge. He does a really good job of zoning. I'm actually surprised to have seen him falling off there. In the previous fight, he did a great job of zoning. Just there, he did a great job of zoning, so it's just, it happens. It happens to the best of us. Mazin and Paul Tessi helped me a lot. Thumb, fantastic run, though. Fantastic run. Absolutely wonderful run. MegaRetroMan, incredible run. You guys, again, I'm very interested. I see what I can see. I can see Thumb's timer on there, but I can't see MegaRetroMan's. I'd like to know what that looks like. And we've got, again, bearing in mind, we're looking at Mazin's timer. His timer's not far behind, so just finished up that fight right there, grabbing that 3rd pendant. All he's got to do is path his way back, spawn at the Sanctuary, path his way back to the Master Sword, and take it over. I did my timer based on touching the sword. Nope, that's perfect. That's perfectly okay. Again, mine's just more for the benefit of the audience, just so you know. Again, if this were something that were very specific, we'd have people in person, where the systems, there's no latency, and we know that the timer starts at the same time. But with the internet, I didn't have a way to do that perfectly, so this is kind of just to give you a general, and I'm glad that they did do, those of them who are serious about it did their individual timers, so that you can see how truly rapid these guys are. How absolutely incredibly fast these guys are. 24:21 for Thumb Bros. Very, very nice. Very impressive. A PB, Yeah, I mean, this is very impressive. And here we go. I mean, again, Mazin, all he has to do here is path this out. He's doing a beautiful job of that right now. At this point, the objective is just to touch the sword. And there it is, right there, all pendants out, Master Sword in hand. Mazin finishes up, not at all far behind the other two. Not at all. And Paul MegaRetroMan Tessi comes up at 24-28. 24-21. So this was literally decided by 7 hundredths of a second. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then Mazin coming in right there too. These ridiculously fast, talented racers doing ridiculously fast, talented strats. Very, very impressive coming in there. And again, this is even technically faster than the previous one where my timer ended up on 25. These guys did a wonderful job. So for all of you who are checking this out, please, again, offer your GGs, your congratulations, all of that stuff. I had one fall on the mold orm. Yeah, I very, very well done. Which killed my momentum. No, very, very well done. I mean, this is a fight. This was a fight like crazy, where you guys were neck and neck and just did brilliantly. So congratulations to MegaRetroMan, to Thumbros, and to MazinPower for doing such a fantastic job on this. I do think what I'm going to do, though, is I think I'm going to go ahead and start to kind of close things down. We had some technical issues. I would love to bring these guys on for post-interview, but I have had some issues with audio. So we're going to work on figuring that stuff out for next races, and obviously we'll work on some logistics and synchronicity. But I think if everybody doesn't mind, great commentary, Retro. I hope you guys don't mind. I really appreciate it. I'm not an expert. These guys are, and I really highly recommend checking these guys out. Great job. It was fun to watch. Thanks, Retro Room. Excellent commentary. I want to say really quickly, thank you to everybody who was involved in this. As a racer who came in early, who was tolerant and patient with the tech issues, and did the race. I hope you had a ton of fun. You guys were amazing. And a huge thank you to all of you who popped in the chat and said hello and gave your congratulations and cheered on your favorite racers. Huge thank you to you guys too. It was a ton of fun to do this. It was a ton of fun to watch you guys not only race, but to watch you guys cheer them on. So thank you so very much, and thank you so very much to everyone who permitted me to be a part of this. I'm going to go ahead and put it on an ending. It is not a Zelda-specific ending. It is my ending, just because I think it's kind of a neat little ending, and I hope you guys will be okay with that. Just because I like the idea of all little gamers coming back together at the end of the day at the city, holding their respective trophies. I kind of like that, so. I want to say a huge thank you, though, to everybody, again, and those of you who haven't yet come in, who maybe see this as a video on demand after the fact, a huge, tremendous thank you to all of you for looking at it, for spending the time. Please, if you were willing to spend the time and see this, and you gained a little bit, just a little bit, a little smile, a little bit of enjoyment, this was something that scratched an itch, maybe it was just fun to watch, please go down in the description below or in the chat where it was posted and take a look at these guys' channel, because I have no doubt that they have a ton of awesome stuff for you to see on their channels as well. From speed racing and running all the way to casual gaming, I know that these guys are going to have something that's going to bring a smile to your face. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So please don't just forget this and say, oh well, everybody's gone. They're all down in the links below. Please check them out. But it was very, very fun. It's been a long day. It's been a lot of troubleshooting. Our racers have earned their rest, and so have you. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, a wonderful rest of your Saturday or Sunday if you happen to be on the south of the equator. And we'll see you guys all next week on my channel for my normal stuff. And hopefully we'll see you guys with the racers soon as well. Take care.
Thank you.